All right, y'all. So I am back. So yeah, I had some more things to say about this Nain Rouge myth or character, if you will. So I do believe that it is some truth behind this, possibly because I also found out there's a brewery uh called let's see, was it Nain Rouge Brewery? And yeah, it's a place that sells beer and all that. So I come to find out that the logo is of the Nain Rouge or Red Dwarf creature, right? So also check this out. Let's see. It's a new black owned brewery that was opened actually this year, March of this year, late March, called Roar Brewing Company. Detroit's first black owned brewery set to open Sunday. And guess what the address is, y'all? It's owned by Evan Fay. Um, it's on 666 Selden Street in Midtown, Detroit. Yeah, you heard me. So yeah, that's interesting. And I was thinking of all streets, they had to put it on a street with that number combination, huh? So yeah, I thought that was interesting to point out. But I also wanted to talk about some other things that stood out to me. If you're from Detroit or if you're familiar with the history of Detroit, you would know about Devil's Night, which had turned into Angel's Night. Now, that type of energy feels like curse type of energy too, because a lot of people lost their lives. They got injured because of pranks that, teenagers or young people or whatever, and other people who were of age too were doing, causing terror and havoc in the city the night before Halloween in Detroit. So basically on October 30th, they'll go raise hell and throwing eggs and stuff and throwing, I guess, like for firebombing people houses or whatever hell, and just doing a whole lot of stuff they should have not been doing the day before Halloween. So it actually stemmed from back in Europe. They had a mischief night, and it could be traced back to Britain. Okay, so that's where the Devil's Night idea came from when it came to Detroit. So much like Devil's Night in Detroit, Mischief Night in Europe was marked with pranks committed by the youth, okay? And that's what happened in Detroit as well. So it's very interesting because afterwards it caused a lot of what you call unwanted issues, and it became dangerous and it became not so fun. The pranks became very detrimental to the citizens of Detroit, or the residents rather of Detroit, because it went from police and fire departments being off the hook because so many people kept getting injured, and they went to the extreme. By the early 1980s, that's when things started becoming extreme. But from the 1940s through the 1970s, Devil's Night, that's what it was called then, but eventually it was changed to Angel's Night in Detroit. It was usually just regular incidents of the youth just being silly and egging people's houses, throwing toilet paper on people's houses. Nothing outrageous or out of the ordinary, just doing silly stuff. But when the early 80s hit, because it was a rise of unemployment in the city, and there were a lot of empty properties, meaning that vandalism had risen a lot. And a lot of the youth was just getting into stuff, and then you had the rise of like the crack epidemic and all drug epidemic, whatever. It was just a lot. Crime was increasing, gang activity, all this other stuff. So the fire started to spread quickly, and a lot of people had gotten injured. A lot of property was destroyed. And some people even died, unfortunately, from these events. And it was just like citywide arson. It was just like hell on earth that night. Like hell on earth, pretty much, for some people. Hated when it came around. And eventually it became uncontrollable for the police departments and the fire departments. So that's when they started doing Angels Night. So to curb the arson and crimes, the severe crime rate and stuff during that time, they issued a curfew. I believe that was in 1986, I want to say, restricting those under the age of 18 from being out past 10 p.m. on October 30th unless accompanied by adults in the days surrounding it. So in 1995, the city began enlisting volunteers in the neighborhoods to help prevent the flames from catching and spreading to other properties. And the group of volunteers operated much like Neighborhood Watch, but specifically for Halloween, well, pre-Halloween, because that's basically what it was like Halloween Eve, pretty much, because it was the day before Halloween, which is October 30th. And they were patrolling the communities, and they pretty much reported suspicious activities to the authorities if they saw that something was a little bit off balance. Well, not a little bit off balance. They looked rather suspicious or dangerous or a threat to the residents. They would report those. And eventually in 2017, the city of Detroit officially ended the program. From what I'm reading, Angels Night was replaced with a community celebration on October 30th called Halloween in the D. And from my understanding is that they wanted to do Halloween in the D instead because they wanted children to, or the youth, if you will, and people in general, to be able to just enjoy Halloween again and not feeling like they were being patrolled or controlled. I'm telling you, you talk about the purge, honey. Excuse me. It was like the purge, y'all, in Detroit on October 30th. It went down. It was like a freaking, not massacre or nothing like that, but it was just insane, y'all. Like it was just people everywhere, like hell, havoc, destruction, chaos, you name it. It was like a war out there, like pretty much in some neighborhoods. Like it was bad, and the worse the neighborhood was, the more damage. Like if it was deemed as being less safe or a high crime zone or high drug selling zone, or however you want to put it, where drugs and crime rate and gang activity or whatever was higher, it's like that those places got destroyed more because they didn't care, because it was a lot of empty buildings and properties, and it was already going downhill in a handbasket, so people really didn't give a fuck, unfortunately.